Hey everyone, welcome to Eternal Amor, and we got a killer video today. We're diving into the online dating world and we got Sadia Khan here to be our guiding star. Now we all know online dating can be a bit of a roller coaster, but fear not, Sadia is here with her fantastic insights to help us navigate the twists and turns and find those real lasting connections. Sadia Khan is not your run-of-the-mill relationship expert. She's got that down-to-earth advice that feels like chatting with a friend. So whether you're swiping left or right or just curious about improving your love life, you're in for a treat. So grab your favorite spot, kick back, and let's get into Sadia Khan's tips on making online dating work for you. It's time to find that special someone and build something meaningful. Let's jump in.
Right. Well, here's the problem with online dating and with any kind of dating is the level of commitment you have towards your partner will depend on how much you invest in alternatives, not actually how great your partner is. So what I mean by this is if I make a decision to love and adore, just be with my husband and avoid alternatives and focus on that person, then that commitment can become something. Right. But without that mindset, it will always be diluted. The connection will always be diluted. Now, the problem with online dating is it makes you focus on alternatives. So couples that break up or couples that end up cheating are couples that will always imagine what life with an alternative would be like. So they'd be like, I wish I was with a man who's more mature, or a man would say, I wish I was with a girl who's younger, or something like that. They're constantly imagining the alternatives. Now, those couples are more at risk of breaking up. Online dating pushes that mentality far more.
Right.
So that's why I don't see an alternative, to be honest. When clients always come to me and ask me, like, how do I meet someone? I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. And I really think I should start like some kind of matchmaking. I think I should start a community. I wish I had more time because I'd be great because I'd know your background and all this stuff. And but unfortunately I only have two hands. But if I did, I always say it's not online dating that's the problem. It's your mindset. Are you continuously aware of alternatives, or do you try and be sequential? Focus on that one person, then understand if they're compatible, understand that, and don't mind taking off alternatives for a little while. And then you'll discover the outcome faster. If they're right for you, you figure that out straight away. If they're wrong for you, you should figure that out straight away. But by diluting it and seeing 3, 4, 5 different people all the time and going straight back on the app, you don't know who is the compatible partner. And that's what I think is a problem with alternatives. They get addicted to novelty.
Right.
Yeah. So what I mean by that is they get into the habit of the beginning stages of relationships and forget the habits of the long-term parts of relationships. And the beginning stages is dressing up, going on a date, knowing what to talk about, you know, putting on your best face. The long-term parts are like, you know, just maybe sitting at home, spending time with his parents, your parents, the boring stuff. Yeah. And so what happens is there is an addiction to novelty and an addiction to the beginning stages of relationship and a repelling kind of response to the maintenance stage of relationships. And that's the problem with online dating. And by the way, I'm not saying this is a negative thing. I don't want to one day come up with an app and be like, oh, by the way, join my, and then have someone
join my app, guys. It's
and
better.
Then this comes out. But it's not that I'm against it. It's I'm against the mindset and the culture it creates. I would genuinely say that if when you're in the beginning stages, have a look at what their patterns are. People always focus on like, you know, their competition in terms of other people. Okay. Your competition is their patterns, their childhood, their previous experience before you. Now, if they say to you, every ex was so traumatic, chances are like every ex is terrible, every ex is bad, every ex was this. Let's say, for example, I say every ex cheated on me. Then what you're getting is an idea that I'm naive. There's a part of me that ignores red flags, goes in blindly and doesn't spot it and then, you know, gets hurt. Or if I say to a man says every woman has used me in this way or that way, then you get into the part they're not good at selection. So what happens is if they come to you with a long list of all their traumatic experiences, although that might happen, I'm not saying don't stay away from people who've been through that. I'm just saying stay away from people who don't reflect that they're the common denominator. You say, what is a common reason that your relationships end? Or what is a complaint that most partners have had about you.
Oh, that's a good
And
question.
so what they might say is, well, they always say I'm too busy with work, or they might say that they always say that I'm a bit too clingy. And so when they see there's a consistency, you're kind of encouraging them to reflect on what they bring to the relationship.
Yeah.
And then there's something that they need to work on. And I make relationships sound like really heavy work.
Yeah.
It's not really.
It's serious
It's
business,
actually
guys.
really lovely once you understand all those things. And you realize, because then what happens is when you realize it's a pattern, you no longer blame the person in front of you. You recognize that there's something in your selection process or your maintenance process that's causing this, and you can take more accountability. This is the problem I see with a lot of people who are single for a very long time, and they say they don't want to settle. What I say to them is, look, there's a difference between settling and having an accurate perception of your level. And people get a little bit offended by this. So, for example, I might meet an older man, and he really, really wants a young girl, really, really wants that. And I just said, look, it's not settling. And he's like, I don't want to be with a woman around my age or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's not settling if that's the pool of women that are interested in you.
Yes.
If you have to beg someone to be with you, that means you're requiring them to settle. But if you have an accurate perception, what people think settling is going for someone below them. But really, sometimes that might be your real level.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have an inflated perception of what we want, but not what we can access. What a true reflection is have a look at the pool of the people that show you investment.
Right.
And this has been really, really affected by short-term dating and hookup culture. What happens is the men and women that we might hook up with are completely different to the men and women that we invest in. The problem is men and women get used to who they've been hooking up with and thinking, I don't want to settle for that guy. I've been with a guy that's had a Lamborghini before. Oh, I don't want to be with this girl. I've been with a girl that's been, I'm like, but how have they treated you?
Right.
Think about the people that invest in you. Think about the people who give you love and attention. That's your accurate pool of selection. The people that you've hooked up with here and then, gone on a date with here and then, if that's inflating what you want in a partner, that's not an accurate perception of reality. So it's only settling if you've had a lot better in the past and they've genuinely been dedicated and invested in you. But if you haven't had that before and it's just something in your imagination, is it really settling, or you have an inflated version of what you expect?